We are continuing with the 2016 administration of the Algebra 1 EOC. We're on problem number 9. All right, and right now we're looking at 4 different graphs. I'm going to zoom out just a bit. All right, right here it says the starting annual salary for an officer working at a company is $29,000. The company awards an annual increase of 6.2%, which graph models the situation after the office worker receives an annual increase. Okay? So things that are important that you need to be able to look at, to be able to analyze these graphs is where are you starting at? All right, where does this, how much are you making, or what is this office worker making? $29,000. So that's the very first thing you'd want to look at, is you want to, that's your starting point, right? It's just right here, write that down. That's where you're starting. Just write that down on your paper. Okay? Right, so right now, where does that start? That's not it. That's not it. Year A, right? Now, just looking at this graph, does this look like a gradual increase or a steep increase? Which one is like the gradual? Gradual. What does this one look like? Now, which job do you want? I'd like this job, okay? Because, man, look at this. After year 1, you went from 29,000 up to 45,000 in 1 year, right? After 1 year here, you went from 29,000 to just over what? 30,000, right? Okay. Now, what's your percent of increase? 6.2%. Let me show you guys how you can do it in the calculator, right? Just take 29,000. Okay, in the calculator. Multiply. By the way, how do you write 6.2% as a decimal? You know how to do that? .062. That's how you convert it to a decimal. So I want you to understand. Percent makes sense. So if you had 5%, that is equivalent to like 5 cents. And how do you write 5 cents as a decimal? 0.05. So I always thought percent makes what? Cents. Alright? So what do you get when you do 29? Hold on, let me figure out this. 29,000. Oh, it's the graphic calculator you're allowed to use on the STAAR test. What are you going to increase your salary by? 1,798. So we're going to add that to what? Add that to 29,000. And what's your next year's salary? Close to 31,000, right? So which graph does that best represent? This graph or this graph? A. That's why you would choose A. Okay. Now let me tell you the exact function for this. Okay. This is called an exponential function. So if you would write on your paper, A times B to the power of x. Write down A times B to the power of x. Now, by the way, A is considered to be your initial value. All right, that's your initial value. All right, and B is what's called our growth. Sometimes they call it a decay rate. If it's going down, it's called a decay rate. But right now, can you guys see that we're not dealing with a decay rate? We're dealing with a growth rate because everything's going up. So here we go. Our A value for this function. What was our initial value? 29,000. Okay? And what's it going up by? It was going up by 0.062, but you actually have to write a 1.062 because you're getting 100% of your salary plus what you're doing. You're 100% of your salary plus what? 6.2%. So your growth rate is actually 1.062. The power of x. So if you would please go ahead and type that in the graphing calculator. I'm sure you guys something kind of cool. So y equals. Clear these out. Sorry, I had to recalculate. 29,000. I'm going to multiply it by 1.062 to the power of x. Now look at the table. We got that, didn't we? Right there. After 2 years, what are you making? Right here. After 3 years, this. 4 years, this. 5 years, that. Okay? So this right here, I just wanted to show you. By the way, did you have to know how to do that in order to get the problem right? Did you have to know how to do this to get the problem right? No. What was the only thing that you really had to do? You had to know what 6.2% meant and how much it went up by. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get on to the next problem. Oh, this one kind of gives students difficulty, okay? So what I'd like you to do is we're going to be talking about what's called the quotient property. So I'd like you to write down the quotient property with exponents. Okay? Quotient property. So I'm going to put a to the power of m over a to the power of n will always equal a to the power of m minus n. If you have the same base, a being the base, you are allowed to do what with the exponent? Subtract it. Now the coefficients, these numbers right here, you just put in the calculator. Watch, do 14 over 8. What is 14 over 8 reduced to? If you divide this by a 2 and divide this by a 2, what do you get? 7 over what? So this right here, what does 14 over 8 become? 7 over 4. So automatically, what do you know is in your answer? 7 over 4. So we're going to say that's a stupid answer. So we eliminated one. Let's try it real quick. Okay? So here's what I'd like us to do. Let's break it down real quick. Ready? So on your paper, here's what I want you to do. Do a over 4 divided by a to the negative 2. We're going to do this one right here. And what are we applying? We're applying the quotient property. So this is going to be a power of 4 minus, open parentheses, a negative 2. Now what's going to happen to these negatives? They're going to cancel out and make a, so it becomes 4 plus a 2. So that becomes a to the power of 6. Alright? So right now it looks like we only have one answer that has a to the power of 6. But we're going to keep going just for practice. You guys see right here? There's a to the power of 6. Let's go and just do practice. We got b, right? B to the what? B to the 6th over b cubed. What are we allowed to do with these exponents? Subtract them with 6 minus 3. 3. Boom. 3. Okay. Now this one right here is the part that I really want to show you kind of cool. Because negative exponents always like trick students or they get them confused. Notice none of these answers have what? Negative exponents. If you ever want to make a negative exponent positive, all you have to do is shift it above or below. So I'm going to shift this one down, and that will make it positive. I'm going to shift this one up, and that will make it positive. If you're wondering why that's the case, if I said c to the negative 5, that actually means 1 over c to the 5th. That's what it means. If I said a to the negative 2, what does that actually mean? 1 over a squared. But a quick way to make your negative exponents positive, just shift them up or shift them down. Now, let's check this out. What does c to the 5th actually mean? It means c times c. How many c's would I have to list in the bottom? 10, right? Just for the video. I don't like doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But look how many cancel out. Those cancel to a 1, cancel to a 1, cancel to a 1, cancel to a 1. How many do we have left in the denominator? 5, right? So this right here becomes c to the power of 5, but it's what? It's in the denominator. So if you subtracted this, what would you get? You would get what? 5 minus a 10. What is 5 minus 10? Negative 5. And it's actually what? 1 over c to the 5th. So where does the c go? It goes right down here in the denominator. That's why the answer is answer choice H. Now, this is the quotient property. Before you leave this problem, I want you guys to understand what the product property is. So write down on your paper. Write down product property. property, because they could ask you about the product property. And they can also ask you about what's called the power property. Okay? I'm just going to give you just two little examples. Okay? The product property. If I say a to the 7th times a to the 4th, you are allowed to take these exponents and add them. So this would be a to the power of 11, and that would be your answer if you're using the product property. It could look like this, or it could look like this. And you still get what? A to the 11. The power property is different. I want you guys to see the difference between this. When I say a to the 7th to the power of 4, that's different than this right here. This is called a power to a power. A power to a power, you don't add, you are allowed to multiply. This becomes a to the power of 28. I need you guys to know the difference between the product property and the power property. The power property you're allowed to multiply. The product property, what are you allowed to do? Add. Here are the rules. And these rules are on your formula chart. Okay? So if you ever forget the rules, I'm going to scroll all the way up to the formula chart real quick. Let's see your formula chart. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. You guys see the product of powers, quotient of powers, power of a power? You guys can look at it. See right here, what are we allowed to do? You're allowed to do what? Add. Here you're allowed to subtract. Here you're allowed to multiply. So that will be on your star chart in case you forget. Please remember, look at the properties of exponents and apply them properly. Okay? All right. What number are we on, Ethan? 11? All right. 11. Okay, here we go. Number 11. I want you guys to box in two very important things. Here's the first thing. See where it says f of x is x. So kind of put a little box around it if you want to. All right, you just kind of box that in. It's important. Okay? Now it says the linear function f of x is graphed on the coordinate plane. So if you guys would, just go to Desmos. Okay? Just type in right here, practice it. Just hit y equals x. Okay? There's y equals x. Now you can do that in the graphing calculator too. You could hit y equals and just type in what? Type in an x and hit graph. Which looks nicer? Desmos? So whenever you're graphing stuff, use Desmos. Like if you want to see it looks nicer, you can still use your graphing calculator. You can use both of them. All right? See what the problem says. The problem says the graph of a new line is formed by changing the what? The slope to what? 2/3. We're changing the slope to 2/3. And what are we changing the y-intercept to? 4. All right, so do you guys remember slope-intercept form? Yeah, that's it. Y equals mx plus b. Good. Y equals mx plus b. So what I want you to do now, you see where it says 2/3? We're going to plug in the 2/3 right there. And then we're going to plug in the y-intercept right here. So what's our new line going to be? Instead of y equals x, it's going to be y equals 2/3 x plus 4. There. Go ahead, type that in. Type that into Desmos right here. Go to Desmos. Hit right here. After you do that, hit enter. Type in y equals 2 divided by 3. Now here's the important part. You gotta hit the right arrow to get to the x. And what are we going to do? We're going to add a what? Add a 4. Alright, let's look at these lines. Which line appears to be steeper? Of the two lines, which line appears to be steeper? What line would you like to walk up? Or, not either, but if you had to choose, which one would be easier to walk up? The blue or the red? The blue. So this line is steeper. This line is considered to be less steep. So this line right here, the y equals 2/3 x plus 4. That slope is considered to be less steep. because it doesn't go up. The rise over the run is what? Up 2 and over what? Over 3. This is what? Up 1 and over 1. Which is a greater number? 1 or 2/3? Which is greater? The 1. 1 is greater than 2/3. If I gave you a whole pizza and I gave you 2/3 of a pizza, you get more. Alright? Therefore, this line is less steep. This line is considered to be steep curve in this line. What happened to the y-intercept? It was right here. What happened to it? It went up 4 units, right? So let's look at our answers here. The graph of the new line is steeper, right? Has the y-intercept been translated down? No. So that's what makes A wrong? Yeah, because it went up. The graph of the new line is less steep. Oh wait, the graph of the new line is not steeper. That's wrong too. The new line is less steep than the original. My bad. Is the new line less steep? Yes. Is the y-intercept been translated up? Yeah. So right now I'm thinking B. I'm just going to keep reading. The graph of the new line is steeper? No. The graph of the new line is less steep, and the y-intercept has been translated down. That's wrong. So the answer is going to be answer choice B. What did I use? I used Desmos, typed it in, took a look at it. Can you guys remember, you always interpret graphs from the left to the right. When you look at it from left to right, these are both positive graphs. This one is just less steep than this one. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Number 12. What I'd like you guys to do on number 12 is I'd like you guys to rewrite this table from horizontally to vertical, if you would, please, okay? So put x and h of x. Sometimes the trick to doing these problems is just changing the way it looks. So we have a -4 and a 41. We have a -2 and a 17. We have a 0 and a 1. We have a 2 and a, we have a 3, -8, and a 4, and a -7, and a 6, and a 1. And what's it asking for? It's asking for what is the what? That's the range. So here's what I want you to do. Can you guys, over on this side, I want you to label that. This is what's called your range. Over here, this is what's called your domain. So make label domain and range. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take this table, we're going to go to Desmos, we're going to take a look at it. So I'm going to clear this out, hit the plus sign, and make a table. Now help me out here, Ethan, what you got? -4 and a what? -4 and a 41. Okay. What's the next one? -2 and a 17. Next one? 0 and 1. What you got? 2 and -7. 3 and -8. 4 and -7. 6 and 1. So if you get stuck, on one of these problems, you're not sure what to do, just type it in Desmos. Okay? Now, I'm going to zoom out a bit, okay? I don't know if you guys see something right there. I'm going to kind of trace it. If I were to connect the dots, you guys remember connecting the dots when you go to IHOP if you're a kid? Or you ever go to a restaurant where it said connect the dots? Okay? The range is how far the graph goes up or down. What do you think that lowest point is right there? What's that ordered pair? If you had to guess, out of this table, what would be that ordered pair? Yeah, that's the 3 and the -8. Now, this represents your x, this represents your y. This is the domain. This is the domain part. The x is the domain. What does the y represent? The range. Would you agree that all of these points don't get any lower than a -8? That's where it bottoms out. That's the lowest point. So all of my y values, I want you to write down here, all of my y values are greater than or equal to -8. All of my y values. What's the lowest point? This, by the way, here's what you could label it on your paper. That's called the vertex. If I drew this, if you guys know what this shape is called, we're going to probably get into more of this. No, not hyperbola. It kind of rhymes with it almost. It's a parabola. Sometimes, probably, if you're in East Texas, you've heard it called a hyperbola, right? But this is a parabola, and this only deals with what type of function? This deals with a quadratic function. Okay? Quadratic functions make parabolas. Now it's kind of cool. You can know you're dealing with a parabola. Look at these numbers. You see how that -7 perfectly on either side? And you have what? 1 on either side. Now these are that's going up by a 1, right? That's going up by a 2. That's going up. That gap is a 2. So if I put an 8 right here, guess what number that's going to be? It's going to be a 17. That's kind of the pattern you want. Okay? But what is the answer to the problem? The answer to the problem is all real numbers greater than or equal to what? -8. That's the answer, because that's right here. That's the lowest that it gets. It doesn't get any lower than that. Okay? All right. Alright, number 13. Okay? Number 13 says, a sports magazine prints 12 issues per year, and a technology magazine prints 10 issues per year. So whenever I'm doing a word problem like this, I always write stuff down. Sports is how many per year? 12. And technology, let's put tech. Tech is 10. Alright? The total number of pages in all the issues of the sports magazine for 1 year is, so the total pages, right, total pages, is 32 more than the total pages in all the issues of the technology. So the total of this is what? 32 plus whatever the tech is. Right? 32 plus whatever the tech is. Now, each issue of the sports magazine has 18 fewer pages than each issue of the technology magazine. So each issue of the sports magazine is what? 18 fewer pages than each issue of the technology. So what is 18 fewer mean? That's going to be the tech minus 18. Right now, I want you guys to write down what the letters mean. Okay? Which system of equations can be used to find S? What does S equal? The number of pages in what? In each issue of the sports, and T equals the what? Number of pages in the tech. Alright, I guess we have to call it. But we're going to have to finish this up tomorrow. Okay? Alright, in review, alright, I'm going to highlight a couple things. It says S is the number of pages in each issue of a sports magazine. That's S, in each issue. And T is the number of pages in each issue of a technology magazine. Okay? And we're going to go back over here. So if there's 12 issues per year, what would be the total amount per year of total pages? That would be 12S. And for the tech magazine, that's going to be 10T. And that's where you get to this statement. So the total number of pages in all the issues of the sports magazine for 1 year is 32 more than the total number of pages in all the issues of the tech magazine. So 12S is definitely going to equal what? 32 more than 10t. And the other part, it says this. Now, this is talking about each issue. Each issue of the sports magazine has 18 fewer pages than each issue of the technology magazine. All right? So it has 18 fewer pages. So the sports magazine, right? The sports magazine is whatever the technology magazine for tech. What are we going to take away? We're going to take away 18 fewer pages. Okay? So this is a system of equations that you could use to solve for. So we're looking for s equals t minus 18. And we're looking for something that says 12s equals 32 plus 10t. Alright, so s equals t. That works. Okay? 12s equals 10. Oh, you know what? That works too, because through the commutative property, we know that 32 plus 10t is the same as 10t plus 32, so that works. This one is saying the technology magazine has 18 fewer than that, so that's not true. This is backwards. So yeah, it's going to be answer choice. Okay. And that's all we need.